some things you might not know about the Mega Man matchup in particular.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, Mega Man, one of those characters where it's just you're playing neutral so much that you're kind of vicariously learning the character that you're facing off against at the same time. I mean, you learn a character's best neutral openings, what can be stuffed, what can't be stuffed, what they can use versus you, and so and vice versa there.
Yeah, excited to see how Goblin is able to try and get some pressure, especially against Peeb, but into game one, and we are off to the races. Peeb versus Goblin.
Immediately dropping the the Metal Blade there, rather, Peabnut. And right there, I'm so surprised already we're seeing differences because I swear if MPG were on the screen right now, we would not have seen a double up air. We would have seen an up air into full hop down air for the shield pressure, and then maybe even an up tilt to try and go and break that shield. Already Peabnut displaying a little bit of a slower gameplay tendency, or rather maybe a more set play, engage.
Very, very brave call out on the side of Goblin. And Peeb just trying to limit the way Goblin can approach aerially, and Goblin just dominating so far on this ledge and trying to find an early kill despite Mega Man's weight class.
Goblin not quite going to let the whole double-edged dance rip there, not wanting to expose it on the shield, but Peabnut actually just going to roll through instead of harboring center stage overall, and then an up tilt of all things from Peabnut going to come out and close that first stock on a parry of Goblin's down tilt. That move is -3 or -5. The fact that Peabnut was able to parry and then reactionally punish with up tilt is incredible.
I mean, Peeb doing such a good job of, I was about to say, holding on to their stock so far, but the JR closes them up and doing a really good job of just trying to seal up these stocks. I want to see Peeb just control this stage and basically limit the way Goblin is able to approach them, whether it's through the air or trying to abuse their speed on the ground. And there it is, the up B out of shield from Goblin. Probably one of the Roys that does that the most.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you said, the defensive play from Peabnut is going to be paramount here. Just trying to use the pellets, even a forward smash there to just catch the landing. Everything is sort of harbored around keeping Goblin from being able to get on stage, so he can't do things like that. The Jer coming out, taking a relatively early second stock here. I mean, again, Mega Man's so heavy, but the kill power of Roy just cannot be overstated.
It can't be overstated, but it also can't be said enough that Peeb almost was sabotaged by his own Crash Bomber in that last stock, but now trying to set up control at the ledge, and Goblin doing a real good job of setting up momentum to where Peeb has to take a risk against them. And this is just so much pressure onto the side of Peeb. Gob, very patient, holding on to the damage, but it's still not enough. And Peeb has a little bit of a hill to climb, but the Shoryu comes out up tilt from Mega Man. And we're almost back to an even position.
The aggression of Goblin here may be proving to be his downfall, at least on that stock, but can't blame him for trying to keep up the pressure. After all, that's what the matchup is all about. Being able to take that stock from Mega Man, force them into a position where they're not able to throw out the pellets to limit you. And wow, are you kidding? Forward double-edged dance, they're going to take it. It felt like it's 70.
Wow.
And Goblin not even fazed by it. It looked like he expected that to kill even.
I am so impressed by how much pressure Goblin was able to put on to Peeb throughout the course of this set. You're basically seeing them oppress his shield, and instead of him going back and going into that normal pellet-heavy style that we normally see from Peeb, wasn't really able to get his footing, wasn't able to use Leaf Shield to effect, wasn't able to get Metal Blade setups the way he normally could. This is one situation where Peeb is able to get a little more data, and we'll have to see how he adapts.
Yeah, absolutely. Already, though, Goblin coming out swinging again. No stage change. Peabnut just content to try and figure out how to play this thing on PS2 here. Already another backer coming out from Goblin today as well.
Now here comes the D-tilts from Goblin to try and set up some type of advantage, but Peeb just taking so much passive damage from Goblin off of just stray hits. And right now, it just seems like Peeb isn't really able to get something going, but we know that once the game does eventually slow down, this is where Peeb can shine.
It feels like not only is Goblin good at maneuvering around those projectiles, but he's also good at stuffing out those Metal Blade throws and pellet shoots before they even occur. Goblin always calling out these full hops with the forward air, able to force Peeb even further into the corner than usual, as it that's become the precedent in this match. And already again in the corner, another Jer gonna take it. Goblin just not missing those.
Yeah, just not missing anything and finding ways to just close stocks very early on a heavier character on side of Mega Man, but the Flames are still not able to take it. 131. Goblin's live, but the stage spike, that'll take it.
Metal Blade definitely throwing off the tech timing there from Goblin. Very excellently played there by Peabnut, keeping that factor alive, or rather that variable. Metal Blade going to go in for some more shield pressure and a back throw from Peabnut. Really expecting an aggressive recovery there from Goblin. A preemptive one that would have been matched with a down air.
Perfect. So we're seeing so much pressure coming out from Goblin, just using these aerials to basically bait Peeb into swinging out at him and continuing a string, whether it's through a grab chain or elsewise. Despite Peeb controlling the ground, Goblin has been able to chip away using safer pokes, and it's a new game plan that needs to be pushed all the way forward.
And this new stock really is just feeling like all the others here. Massive percent advantage for Goblin, and a dash attack out of down tilt of all things to take it. That dash attack, definitely not one you see often, but definitely still sports kill power.
And again, Goblin just using the Dancing Blade to set up an aerial situation where Peeb has to land, but forcing their options, and Goblin sharking with these up airs. It is so oppressive to see Goblin just go through, but a great bait from Peeb using the F smash. Mid to high percent on the side of Peeb, and the game is trying to close in fast.
Yeah, that was a huge combo from Peabnut as well. 50% after a quick leaf shield, really closing this percent deficit that we've seen almost become standard in this game right now. Goblin, though, definitely still poised to take this one just sheerly off momentum here. Peabnut, unless they're able to really, really lock up that defense, keep Goblin out, and get some more damage on the board, because this is a Roy who has not been gimped once this entire set so far.
No, hasn't been gimped at all, but more importantly, has been able to essentially get off the ledge for free, just like this situation we saw. Peeb struggling to find any connecting blow to take out this stop and try and even up the game. But there it is, the Metal Blade back air, and Peeb equalizes 1-1.
What a choice there to use that Z-drop Metal Blade. It's such an active projectile, and dropping it right there just covers that area for that set amount of time, making it a reactable punish with the back air.
Yeah, finding ways to get unique punishes and just exploit Goblin overall. I was going to say Peeb is doing a great job overall of just taking down this overall game sense and finding a way to exploit Goblin overall. But we're running it back. Goblin able to find a way to hopefully take advantage and move forward.
Yeah, Goblin looking, again, still really aggressive, trying to keep the pressure on that we saw in that first game, and really until about 2/3 of the way through that second game before Peabnut was just able to absolutely turn up and take that stock back from the grave.
Yeah, and now we can see Peeb still, this is kind of reminiscent to what we saw last game, where Peeb kind of gets bullied by some of these options coming out on the side of Goblin, but the percent adds up, and eventually once Peeb finds out Goblin's offensive cadence, he's able to slow down the game enough and slowly whittle away at Goblin's percent and seal a stock.
And I love the phrasing of it, cadence there, because that's really what it is here. You know, Goblin just riffing here. Eventually, Peabnut's got to have an answer, but not this time, as Goblin lands that back air straight into Peabnut. Trying to launch a crash bomber there. A little bit of an aggressive option, maybe too much there, almost an overextension, you want to say, but...
And still, Peeb just in a huge hole right now. 10% on Goblin right now, and it feels like Peeb is just basically trying to find any way to intercept Goblin while they're jumping in. We've seen a lot of this Flame Sword coming out to stop Goblin, but these aerials are just oppressing Peeb with the up air, just chaining together so many options.
And we're actually finally seeing an up B usage on stage here from Goblin. He's definitely one of the Roy players who is more, sort of has a gameplay style centered around that move. baiting the opponent in and then actually either onto a shield or with the super armor that move sports, beating out the moves entirely, getting him stage control, especially at a percent like this where even the smallest hits are going to launch Peeb far back into the corner, precisely where Goblin wants him.
Doing a great job right now setting up Peeb, trying to mount a smaller comeback right now, slowly whittling away at the percent on Goblin. I doubt he's going to get that same type of setup where you force the jump and get the up tilt, but God, again, just making it back to stage almost unscathed every time. It feels like Peeb's left tracking game just seems a little bit off right now.
And Peeb is really getting a lot of mileage, though, out of this Z-Drop Metal Blade combo. He hasn't quite been able to cash in on it yet, but both times Goblin has rolled, so he simply Z-dropped the Metal Blade and then turned around and either gone for a grab or a forward air. The grab would have been detrimental as he would have been able to back throw Goblin once again off stage and reset the situation, but instead Goblin actually was able to make it back. Still, though, Peabnut eventually going to be able to even up these stocks here. Goblin, though, looking at him in the corner, looking more than primed for a stock loss.
And this is what we're talking about. Peeb is able to withstand the pressure that Goblin put on so early and is slowly whittling away back to this lead, 84 to 135. And now Peeb is getting the full life out of these stocks, just getting higher and higher. The average death percentage is just going up.
Yeah, and that's just one of the perks of playing a heavyweight character in this game, Ducks, because you're so heavy, you'll be able to soak up so much damage, and then you'll get to play with Rage for longer than most anyone, but an incredible falling up air from Goblin, gonna actually be able to finally take it 150% plus before Peabnut finally fell there, but Goblin definitely not looking too phased by how long that took, playing with the percent and playing with Rage of his own now as he sort of mandates Peabnut to this corner of the stage.
Doing a good job right now, just juggling Peeb, trying to shark these landings. And Peeb has to find some way to clutch up, and the F-Smash will do it. This is where Peeb is turning on the Jets and trying to find a way to slow down the game and keep their pressure on.
Yeah, the name of the game here, obviously, for Goblin is that pressure, trying to confine Peeb to a very small section of the stage, and then pouncing on the aggressive options when they come. Right there, the forward air being punished as well with a jab there afterwards. Goblin really in prime position right now to take this one, seal out this third game, and punch a ticket, that much closer towards winners finals.
Doing a great job, like you said, of keeping this pressure on, but Peeb slowing the game down little by little. The time is, any time on the clock is all in Peeb's favor. Surviving the up tilt at 141. It's Rage in the tank on the side of Peeb, and this is just going to set up for that Metal Blade back air we might have saw in game 2, and Peeb slow rolling the offense on Gob.
Yeah, and the Rage's influence here cannot be overstated right here in this game 4, because Peeb 146 full Rage in the tank, an uncharged forward smash, basically sending Goblin all the way across the stage here, so imagine what it'll do at the ledge. Down tilt, though, coming out from Goblin, quick run-up shield and then a roll away from Peabnut. He is terrified of these corner options that Roy sports.
I mean, wouldn't you be terrified of these
No,
corner
of course.
options?
I'm not saying anything.
I mean, it's so much pressure that Gob can safely put onto Peeb's shield. There's not necessarily a great answer to say, get off me in the corner as Mega Man, but now just have to use the pellets, keep Roy at arm's distance. The next hit can surely set up this game. 2 minutes on the clock, and Peeb trying to use that time to full effect.
Goblin just playing exceedingly patiently there. Clutch factor absolutely being tested in that game 4. Now again, as we said, one step closer to taking this set and moving into winners finals here. Goblin just, I don't know, playing incredibly patient there. Have to admire it.
Yeah, playing incredibly patient and almost abusing the fact that Peeb wants to jump into shield defensively to stop the onslaught of aerials.
And just the way that he abused Peeb time and time again for going into shield out of that corner, just really, has to be said about the pressure. I mean, again, conditioning into that shield and then punishing accordingly. Even if it takes until 200%, Goblin will find that stock. And again, we're just back to PS2 here. No surprise there. Both players, again, just more than a... Was that a ledge slip down air? Ledge slip down air in the drop zone, taking an incredibly early stock over Peabnut. The shortest 0 to death I've ever seen in my life. 2 moves.
And this is where Goblin can establish their momentum, doing a great job of putting the pressure onto Peeb, saying you have to find a way to answer this tempo. And here comes the Dancing Blade again, not going to connect. And Goblin has a perfect position where they can start taking a few risks while you can play with this lead.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you've just bought yourself so much in this game here. A lot of aggression to be had, and you're still at low percent here. Now you're just primed to get Peabnut back up to, the same percents where he's being forced to shield in the corner and get up thrown.
Just finding any way they can to connect. The air shooter's still not enough, and these falling up airs have been a nightmare for Goblin to deal with.
Peabnut really having to put the pressure on where he can with those up airs, but of course Goblin has up airs of his own here, already racking up 91% on that new fresh stock from Peabnut that he sort of provided for him within 10 seconds of this game beginning. Again, though, the forward smash is going to be too good there for the option coverage. Goblin changing up his options routinely, but not necessarily the timing, and that is a move that can definitely remedy a situation like that for Peabnut.
It seems like Peab has finally caught onto the timing of this up B, like you said, from Goblin, but it almost seems like it's too little too late. That early stock is really putting the hurt onto Peab. Checkmate is coming online for Goblin, and this can shore up a solid winner's run for them.
Yeah, jab forward air, no back air even needed there from Goblin. And I mean, this game state right now for Peabnut just feels insurmountable. 4 up airs, no, 3 up airs in a reset with double edge dance. Goblin was looking for something dirty there, you can tell.
Yeah, trying to find any way they can to blow this lead open, but the double edge dance just keeps adding on this damage. He really can't afford to be taking these hits in neutral. 4:49 on the clock, and it doesn't feel like the time has been a friend to Peab this game.
Goblin, I mean, his Metal Blade play too has just been insane. The utilization of that move to get even more damage onto Peab. Again, now, and Goblin really just looks content to stand here in center stage, dashing back and forth, challenging Peab, daring him even to come in, just to, have that stock lost.
And this
perfect percentage here for those down tilt tech chases that Roy is so known for. And I feel like this next hit is really going to be detrimental for Peabnut, or could maybe spell the beginning of a comeback for Peab as well.
And here it is, the Crash Bomber setting up a combo, not going to get the up tilt as he expected. But this is all a position where Peab can win from if he's able to just keep his spacing and keep these aerials to keep Goblin in a recovery situation. At the ledge, Peab doing nothing to try and bait out an option from Goblin to F smash connects, and this could be it. Peabnut has an avenue to victory.
I feel like the pace of the game has really changed here. Peabnut almost not really worried about being in the edge anymore because he knows Goblin has to come to him. And look at that, staying in the corner, getting a back throw. Looks like he might have been going for a little bit of an early stock take there. Oh, and yeah, the runoff forward air, really trying to catch something a little over-ambitious there from Peabnut, but still respectable as Goblin is able to close out that game and the set with a jab back air.
And the tried and true Roy combo comes to fruition again. Goblin sealing out the game, and that was such a dynamic opening from him that, like you said, one of the fastest 0 to deaths just running off down air spike.
I have never seen that before. I've never seen a down air be positioned like that ever in this game from Roy. It's just incredible. I mean, I don't even know. You don't want to say it's an accident, obviously, because it's Goblin, but it's like there are definitely going to be some Roy players who are taking some time looking over that one, figuring out maybe if they can optimize that in other ways.
It was such a solid defensive read. He basically puts Peab off stage and positions himself between the ledge and Peab, saying, if you air dodge, which is pretty much your only safe option, you're going to die.
Yeah, and just the way that he ran up and did like an instant ledge slip combo, no fast fall, perfect execution, just putting the down air in that